being released on Columbia Records gives you almost no advantage. In fact, in some cases, a disadvantage over being released on your own. Because if you're released on your own, you don't have to worry about some group getting their act together and some policy. You just post it.
Right. You don't have to convince everybody either.
Exactly. And so it spreads. And you can act then as a tribe leader. That what you can do is you can do a coffee house gig in Memphis and at the end say, go to cdbaby.com and you can buy my CD.
Right.
Right? And someone else is gigging down the street. He's also sending people to CD Baby. Guess what? The people who heard him now find you and vice versa. The next thing you know, when you're selling a CD for $12, you get to keep 8, which is a little different. And when you put it on the internet and spread and your tribe shows up, you can say in one email, and I saw this happen last week, songwriter had all his music on his Mac and the Mac crashed. And he sent an email, pressed one button, and then the next day $1,500 came in from his tribe to buy him a new Mac.
Right. So it's drilling down into these like micro niches,
That's
people
right.
that really relate to you. I always say there's no money in the middle. There's Rush Limbaugh, there's Michael Moore.
I have that slide just for today. Yes, exactly. Yeah, I call it the Seinfeld curve. And so at one end of the curve is free, and that's ubiquity. You're everywhere. So Jerry Seinfeld, you can watch him in 500 cities every day for free on television. And at the other end is scarcity. That's $200 to go to Vegas and watch him live in concert. So he wins at both ends. But in the middle is death. Because in the middle, no one's going to pay $4 for any Jerry Seinfeld type experience that he could deliver.
Right.
So the challenge for musicians in music is it's all in the $4 range right now. There's no free and there's no scarce. It's all in that horrible dead zone. And the opportunity is to go one way or the other or probably both.
Well, and I think we're seeing that with like vinyl, the return of vinyl. It's limited edition, special packaging.
Sure. Vinyl was the best moment the music industry ever had. There's so many things that are great about an LP. If I have it and it wears out, I have to buy another one.
Right.
If I have it and I loan it to you, I have to buy another one. Right. If I have it and you see it, you know I have it. You don't see what's on my iPod. It's in my pocket.
Right.
So vinyl had all these wonderful elements to it, and the music business sold its soul when it switched to digital, because what it did was it freed the music from the substrate. It freed the music from the item itself. And so there it went. And, you know, as a analog vinyl listener, it's an emotional experience to buy a record, take it out of the sleeve and put it on the record player. Vinyl is not going to save this industry as it's currently constructed, no doubt about it. But if you can find 10,000 people who love vinyl and those 10,000 people want to buy your record, you have a living for the rest of your life.
Well, and if you can keep the numbers down, like you're saying, release it yourself, not have that big label that you have to
Exactly.
fund. Well, you talk about, it's funny you mentioned about having vinyl, like if I can see you have vinyl, it's, 12 inches there. Word of mouth, and this is a great quote from you, you said, everybody else is getting bigger. Like I think about when I went to college and I had my group of friends, they would share new music with me. Who are the tastemakers these days? I think like if I go to Amazon.com, reviews.
Exactly, right. So one of the reasons hit records are hit records is we want to listen to what everyone else is listening to. The reason that 12-year-olds care about what's on the radio is they want to listen to what everyone else is listening to. The key phrase there is everyone else. There used to be only one everyone else, the everyone else of the masses of people in my city. Now there's 1,000 everyone else's. I want to listen to what everyone else who's into punk polka music is listening to, because I can just hang out with those people. So a hit among that edge of the long tail could be just fine, right? What we see is all these silos. So you got the CMJ people, and you got the alt country people, and you got the bluegrass people. The bluegrass people don't want to listen to what everyone else in the world is listening to. They want to listen to what all the other bluegrass people are listening to. And when you realize the world is segmented that way, you don't worry so much about getting Bruce Springsteen on the Super Bowl, because that's one big everyone else that doesn't really care. What you worry instead about is finding your own everybody else, a niche, a group of people who talk to each other, what I call a tribe, and leading them in a movement, taking them in a given direction.
Well, it's funny you mentioned CD Baby. Derek Sivers is a great friend of mine, and I know a little bit about...
He's got a good haircut, too.
You guys look very similar. But I know a little bit kind of about the back end, and just from my own music marketing experience, is that it's Pareto principles, 80-20. The people that are making Derek Sivers and the industry most of the money, if you look at like even the old school industry, 1 out of 8 albums made money, but it was enough money to cover the 7 that you lost. So there's a lot to be said for that. Those true fans are going to spend so much money with you that forget the rest of the guys. All you got to do is concentrate on the guys who really love you.
Right. And it's the concentrating part that's so hard, because this industry, like most industries, everyone wants one more set of eyeballs, one more fan. That the mindset is not, how do I get share of wallet? How do I get more from each person I already have? It's, how do I get more wallets? How do I get share of market? But what we're seeing in every industry, not just this one, is that doesn't work, because the cost of getting one more fan is huge, whereas the cost of satisfying an existing fan is tiny.
Right.
Right. And so, my blog, which I've worked on for 7 or 8 years, has fans. I now write books for them. I find content for them. I don't try to find readers for my books. I try to find books for my readers. Once you make that mental shift, it changes the way you organize. It changes the way you do your work. It changes how you write. Everything's different.
Well, speaking of your books, Tribes, the new book that you've got, talk about how you launched that, because I know you had like a secret community.
Yeah, I guess
I think that would be kind of interesting, because I think a lot of the musicians that are coming out now could do something like that. So talk about how you launched Tribes.
You could actually do this for free, and it takes about 2 days. So there's a website called Ning, N-I-N-G. It was started by the guy who started Netscape. And what Ning lets you do in about an hour is set up a community where people can log in, post their picture, post conversations, videos, arguments, forum discussions, start mini groups, all in this online community that doesn't cost anything. Or if you turn off the ads, it costs $20 or $30 a month. So what I did was I posted my blog, and I said, my new book's coming out. If you buy a copy in advance, sight unseen, thus proving that you are a real true believer, I will let you into my closed community. So 3,000 or so people signed up in one day. And then I said, okay, we're closing it. And the plan was let them have a 2-month head start, interact with each other, and then open it to the public.
Mm-hmm.
Well, these 3,000 people are there 24 hours a day. You can go anytime, day or night. They help each other. They connect with each other offline. They invest in each other's businesses. They brainstorm stuff. And they got so into it that they asked me not to open it to the public. So it's still closed.
Right.
But, a simple example, I was in London a couple of weeks ago. I thought, wow, this will be fun. I'll give a speech in London. So I just posted to the tribe, and I said, I'm going to London, let me know if you want to come. And 350 people came and paid money to hear me speak in London. And that's not, I'm not trying to reach new people.
Right.
They can reach new people on my behalf if they want. I'm spending all my time reaching them.
Right. Well, and it's also more influential if they do.
Right.
Because word of mouth, you trust your friends more than you would trust somebody that you don't know.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Well, talk about like what you do with the photos. I think that was kind of an interesting thing. And I think that would actually work really well for anybody releasing, especially if you're releasing album artwork with the 12-inch vinyl.
That's a great idea.
So talk about that idea.
So separate from the online tribe, about 6 months before that, the publisher was about to print the jacket for the book Tribes. And in every book I've ever done, I've used my own advice in marketing the book. So permission marketing, you could get a third of the book for free if you gave me permission. Purple Cow came in a milk carton, collectible, limited edition, so people would talk about it, on and on. So Tribes, I wanted to show my tribe. So I posted on my blog, I said, if you want me to put your picture on the cover of my book, upload it here. And 1,800 people uploaded their picture. And then I found a piece of software online that let me take the 1,800 pictures off of Flickr and make them into a collage. So if you open the book and take off the cover, on the other side of the cover is printed 1,800 pictures of all my readers. And you can bet that 1,800 people bought the book so they could show their grandchildren, look, my picture's on the cover of this book.